Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
All right, 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. It's time for Winging It. This is the show hosted by Brad Borsma and Josh Verdunk. They come in here each Friday from Ocala Aviation Flight School so that if we're thinking about getting some lessons that we can become a pilot, we'll know exactly what to expect. The phone number here right now is the WOCA Climate Control Source Hotline, 622-WOCA. Brad, Josh, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How you doing?
Good. How about you?
Good. When you get a choice between plain and fancy, do you always pick plain?
Plain and fancy?
Yeah, if somebody gives you a choice, what do you want, plain or fancy? What do you pick?
It's one of his jokes.
Oh, I was thinking airplane or fancy. I'm like, why?
Oh,
would
okay.
you, that's
You normally pick fancy?
okay. You mean plain like boring?
No,
or
no.
fancy.
Just if somebody gave you the choice,
But you don't mean airplane or fancy.
It could be. It could be a fancy airplane.
I'm confused.
I
A
don't get it
plain
either.
plane or a fancy airplane?
Could be. Yeah,
No, I'll take a plain plane.
You'd rather have the plain one?
A plain plane.
Well, see, it makes sense. You guys like planes?
Okay, so what if you said fancy? What was the?
Well, that would be nice because I prefer fancy.
I'm confused.
I'm assuming you guys like plain. I prefer the fancy.
Fancy what?
Airplanes. It's usually got carpets. In the fancy, your planes don't have any carpets. I've been in your airplanes, and
Some of our airplanes
Yeah,
have
they do.
carpets.
oh, the one I was in didn't have a
Well,
carpet.
no, because you're in the new ones. The new ones is actually better to not have the carpet.
Yeah, because sometimes these airplanes leak when it rains, like in Florida.
Oh no!
Leak?
And then,
The new planes?
not the new planes,
What do you mean
but the
they leak?
airplanes that have carpet might have small leaks, in the cabin when it rains really, really hard. And then the carpet starts smelling.
That's not good.
So sometimes it's good not to have carpets.
So now I
Unless
know
the carpets bunch up,
That too.
where the new material they put in doesn't bunch up, and it's better for deadening
that
the
happens
sound.
to me too.
Yes, it deadens the sound a lot better.
What, you bunch up?
Sometimes I've bunched up a few times. Are you ready to go to the phone?
Yeah.
Oh, sure, that was quick.
Good morning. You're on the air.
Well, good morning,
Good morning.
gentlemen. Yeah, you're talking about your airplanes and whether they're fancy or plain or whatever. Well, you know how people play their air guitars? Well,
Yes.
those of us who just can't or whatever, just can't manage it, we fly our airplanes. We pilot our airplanes. So, get it? Air guitars, airplanes.
Yes, I get it.
Oh, okay, I tried.
A for effort.
Well, thank you, Guy. I wish I could get an A for effort in flying skills, but unfortunately, I'd rather be a passenger sitting back there and let the very knowledgeable, intelligent, and capable pilot the plane. So, thank you for being there and doing that. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
There you go. You guys just don't like jokes. Trying to get you to laugh. By the way, that lady won a Discovery flight back maybe a year ago or so, and she took one of our other listeners who happens to have Down syndrome. It was a very touching moment.
Yes.
Do you remember that one?
Yes,
by
I do.
chance? Good morning. You're on the air with Josh and Brad.
Good morning. I really am enjoying this thread that the conversation has taken.
Oh boy.
It's great, isn't it?
And you guys probably too young to remember the show Fantasy Island. You remember the
What?
little guy and
Too young.
Ricardo Montalban,
How could we be? Okay,
Brad's an old fart. He remembers.
Josh wasn't born then, but I remember Fantasy Island. Yes.
Okay. Well, the little guy's name was Tattoo.
Yes.
Do you know what kind of M&Ms he liked?
What kind of M&Ms he liked?
Be plain.
The plane. Okay, see, apparently it's a joke hour.
It is joke
Thank
hour.
you.
See, do you get it? Because have you ever seen reruns of Fantasy Island?
No, I haven't. But you say the planes all the time.
Yes, I do all the time. Because,
Oh, really?
I've heard that
because
before.
Tattoo, they had Fantasy Island, and when the plane would come in and bring the people to Fantasy Island, then he would say, the plane, and he would let them know the plane was coming.
Oh.
So, thus the...
Yes, this is our joke hour.
Yeah, it is.
apparently.
It is.
Our joke.
Our joke.
Oh, goodness. This is going nowhere very fast.
Joke hour.
The other thing about
Best
Fantasy
aviation
Island is
jokes.
none of those people ever had my fantasy. I'll tell you off the air what it was.
Yes, please do. Yeah.
No, none of them have ever had mine.
Yeah, I don't think you could have that show these days because then it'd be like a reality show and then it'd be really bad. And
Yeah.
It would be no good.
It would be no good, definitely. Well, let's move on. Josh, you want to talk about?
We have a phone call.
Okay, let's have a phone call.
Good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
The planes that you guys use are planes for teaching people and taking rides and that. What is basically the cost of an aircraft that size?
Well, are you talking new, used? You're talking.
How about like new?
Okay, a new 172 is going to run you about $300,000.
300, okay.
Yep. Now you can go back into the 70s and you can get one for 50 to 60. You can get one for cheaper, but I probably wouldn't buy one that was cheaper because it probably doesn't have the equipment you want.
Okay.
But one well equipped with the radios you want, even a 70s model is going to cost you about $60,000 or $70,000.
Oh yeah. Now, when you buy a brand new plane and you're going to take care of it naturally, what is the life expectancy of that plane?
As long as you want it to. I mean, seriously,
really?
we've got 70s planes and they're amazing planes.
We have 60s planes.
We've got 60s planes. Yeah, I mean, planes will keep flying. And we have a student just bought a 1946.
Wow.
So if you
God.
keep up with them, it's just like anything else. But planes have to fly.
Yeah.
If you buy a plane, you let it sit for a year, you're going to have problems all the time.
Okay.
Because it needs to be run. But if
Yeah.
you take care of a plane, it will last as long as you want it to.
Yeah. Is there a big market for used planes?
Yes.
There is.
Because, for a few reasons. One, because there's a lot of people that fly, but the new planes, they've gotten more expensive, and so the used planes are something that's just more affordable for people.
Yeah. If you're in the market for a brand new plane, do you go to some place where they make planes and they have like a showroom and you kind of look at them like a car?
There's a lot of different things. A lot of people go to the air shows. They have air shows where the manufacturers show off all their planes, and it's a lot easier because you can compare a bunch of them at one time.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of places that have where they like a broker. There's one down in Orlando, and if you call them and say you want a 172, then they will usually fly one to your airport and show you.
Oh, very good.
Yep.
Yeah. Do they ever do that here in Ocala?
We haven't had an air show. We had no, not that I can think of. I mean, because when you're talking about when you have one of the big air shows where they bring all these planes, I mean, you usually need a much larger area.
Yeah.
Where they have enough room to show off quite a bit.
Yeah, you don't ever think we'd have an air show at the Ocala?
Well, I mean, we've had air shows,
Yeah.
and they've had all that kind of stuff. But I mean, one of these major ones where they have all the different planes that come in.
Yeah.
I just don't know if the space is there. I mean,
Yeah.
it could be. I don't think it's anything that I've ever heard about. But there's so many other ones that do it.
Yeah.
It's one of those. It's kind of a saturated market where if you've already got someplace that does it, you kind of let them do it.
Yeah. In other words, it boils down to the fact that there is not probably enough parking space for all the airplanes, right? More or less.
Yeah, and just the design of the airport is not really made just for that kind of setup.
Yeah.
Now-
Where's the closest, largest air show from Ocala here?
The big one coming up here in the end of April. I think it's April 9th through 14th
Okay.
down in Lakeland.
Oh, Lakeland, yeah.
There's Sun and Fun, which is a week-long air show.
Okay.
A bunch of vendors come out. You've got a daily air show.
Yeah.
And an air show every night too.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
there's different, they do videos and there's different food vendors out there and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of people actually fly in and camp there for the entire week.
Yeah.
Some people drive in and camp there. Some people just fly in for the day. You know.
That's not all that far from here. I think I might go down there once just to take it in. I
Yep.
always enjoyed air shows. So, okay,
Yep.
well, thanks a lot, you guys.
Okay.
Okay, bye now.
There used to be a cool, I don't know if you called it a museum, but in Dade City there was a place called Wings of Flight. Have you guys ever been there? Or
No, I've heard of it. I've never been there.
I'm not sure it's even still there, but it was kind of like a permanent air show, I guess you would say. They
Wow.
had. It might still be there for all I know. They had at least
think it is.
They used to have like at least one World War II plane, and other than just planes, just for us to look around and educate ourselves, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Why don't you talk about your student?
My student, which student?
This one.
Oh, yes. I had a student who soloed for the first time yesterday, which means that he flew the airplane by himself without the instructor in it, which is a very exciting thing for the students to do, a really big confidence booster. So congratulations to Chris, who got to fly that airplane by himself yesterday.
Yes. And we're going to congratulate Ricardo Revila, one of our students from up north. He got his license on Wednesday. He got his private pilot's license, so that's a great job for him.
Very
Now he
cool,
can move
yeah.
on and I think he wants to keep training and possibly get a plane, so that's a good thing for him.
Is it issued for every state? How does that work?
Oh, yeah, it doesn't matter.
But is it like a driver's license issued by Florida, but I can drive anywhere?
No.
Not true for the planes?
No, planes it's issued by the FAA.
The Federal Aviation Administration. So you can fly. That license is good anywhere in the United States.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you need a new license when you go to Papua New Guinea?
I will, yeah. And I have to do conversion, and it's a lot of work.
Yeah, some countries do FAA, some do JAA, some do. There's different rules. They're trying to get everybody on the same rules, but it's a little bit hard because some other countries aren't as accepting.
And you have another phone call. Good morning. You're on there with Josh and Brad.
Good morning, Josh. Fred.
Good morning.
Do you need a special license to fly an amphibian? I'm not talking about a plane with pontoons. I'm talking about the plane where the fuselage is the hull, and you have auxiliary landing gear, so you can land on, at a runway. And I'm just curious if there was any special licensing requirement for that.
So you're talking about something like a Grumman Goose or something like that?
No, well, not a Grumman Goose. There used to be one, a single-engine pusher thing was called the Republic, made by Republic. I forget the name.
Yeah, the CB?
Yeah, the CB. Yeah. That's the one. That's the name.
Yep. For those type of airplanes, the requirement is actually the same as just a regular seaplane. You just need a seaplane rating to be able to do that. So...
Well, you need the seaplane, and if it had the retractable gear, you'd need a complex endorsement.
Exactly.
But there's not a special license.
Well, the
seaplane is a special...
is a license.
It's an add-on license to the private.
Well, that's basically what I was asking. For example, I can get a driver's license. Mine is a CDL license. And, again, thanks to the government, I had to come up with a big answer questionnaire. I wound up having to go down to the motor vehicle just to justify the fact that I have a CDL license, even though I'm retired and I don't use it. So I don't know what the heck's going on, but I was just curious about the airplanes. And
okay.
What I saw once was the CB, the Republic CB. A guy landed at an airport, and either he forgot to put the wheels down or they didn't come down. Boy, and there are not many of them left.
Yep.
And it was really made a good landing. I mean, it was a walk away, et cetera, but I don't know if they could ever salvage the plane.
Yep. Yeah. From what I've heard, that CB is not all that great as an airplane or as a boat. And that's just what I've heard.
Yeah, but as far as with the gear, that's one of the reasons of why you have to have the complex endorsement. The complex endorsement is very important, and it's one of those factors of remembering to put your gear down and knowing how to make sure things happen. So,
I thought I could swear I saw something where there's a automated reminder if you don't put your gear down, if it drops to a certain landing airspeed or the altimeter kicks in, combination of both.
Yeah, there is a gear horn warning that when the RPMs or the manifold pressure, when you pull the throttle back to a certain distance, the gear there's a horn that comes on that warns you, hey, your gear's not down, you're at low power setting. And that will oftentimes, is a warning to make sure people put their gear down before they land.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but you actually have to pay attention. Although there's warnings, we have heard issues where there was, and it wasn't one of our students or at our airport, but it was one of those where we went to a meeting and they explained this one, where a guy ended up coming in, gear up, and they asked him, why didn't you put your gear down? He's like, well, this thing kept yelling in my ear, and so I couldn't concentrate.
Oh.
Well, the thing yelling in his ear was the thing saying, put your gear down.
Oh, no.
And it was one of those automated ones, and it was gear down. So apparently he was blaming the thing telling him to put his gear down, that he didn't put his gear down because it was bugging him. So you still have to pay attention. Even with warning signs, you have to know what's going on.
Well, and I've also heard sometimes it's just kind of like a buzzer that goes off, and I've also heard someone who said, I was too high for the approach or whatever, and so I was waiting to put my gear down, or for whatever reason, they waited to put their gear down, and you get used to hearing that buzzer, and then you forget about it.
So I see that. Yeah,
it's very, very important that proper procedures are followed in the aircraft to make sure that the gear gets put down and everything like that, so that the aircraft is prepared for landing.
I know you offer the Discovery Flight, and I just want to mention in Tavares and I don't think it's considered a Discovery Flight. I think it's just called a flight, just to fly up. There's no teaching involved. But they have those pontoon airplanes where you can, pay, I guess, whatever it is, and then you go fly around a little bit, and you land, and you take off from the water, and you land in the water. It looks pretty cool. I mean, I watched a man and woman and a child get into this small airplane, and they went out a long way in the water before they finally started flying.
Yeah, the seaplanes tend to need a lot more room to take off because of the high drag that water creates on the pontoons. So it takes a lot longer to get up to the airspeed that you need to because the water is dragging so much.
And actually over there they had a plane like the one I'm describing. It almost looks like the plane you guys fly, but with pontoons. And then there was another, more like a Navy-looking one. Like it was almost like the body itself is what floated, not the pontoons.
That's what our caller was just talking about a second ago.
And you can pay them $20 or $30 and fly around for 15 minutes or whatever. It's in Tavares. I think the garbage pail. I think I told you it says like the seaplane. The seaplane. Yeah, I think it said seaplane capital of.
Remember that?
Oh, that's right. Yes, that's right. That
something like that.
That whole thing.
Yep, exactly.
We'll go back again for St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I wanted to real quick too also talk about and thank Mr. Miller. He should be listening right now. He's one of our avid listeners. He was one of our students that went through and got his private, his commercial, and he came by the other day with some stuff for us, showing us pictures of the plane he gets to fly, and he was very happy. It's just really cool that he was able to do that, and then he came back and he shared with us. So we're happy for him. He came by the other day and saw me again, and we do like that when students go all the way through, or even if they don't, they just get their private, come back and see us. It's great. But to see somebody that big, or to have that big smile on his face with a picture in front of a plane was very good. So good job, Mr. Miller.
And you have another phone call. Good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, this is Bruce. I just wanted to tell you that I enjoyed flying yesterday with them and taking some aerial pictures, but I would like to talk about the Goose. Carl Kiefer used to own one of those seaplanes. He landed Silver Springs, and then he picked this up and took off, and then he went down to the Lake X, where he landed with it. And I noticed that the plane, when they land, is a little different. We didn't stall it out like you do. You pull back on the wheel and you finally stall it out on the ground. Well, when you stall that thing out, you don't just pull back on the stick. You just kind of let it settle down by itself. So I just thought I'd mention it. The fellow previously talked that I've ridden in both, and also those small ones with a push prop on the back of it. When they land, and they land on the lake, we were out on Lake Gunner, and we had one of them out there, company sent it down for pictures. I rode in that thing, and it looked like a diver when we dove. The water flew all over top of the plane. But there's a difference in two different pontoon planes like they use up in Alaska. Actually, the pilot told me that what you do, you break it. You break the suction there. There's a suction forms under the wheel of the pontoons, and that you rock it a little bit, and up she goes. Okay, I'll let you talk. I just thought I'd tell you about that.
Thank you, Bruce.
All right.
That would make sense, the rocking. I get what he was saying.
Well, yeah, I've heard about that before. You get the airplane up on the, I think they call it the plane or the step, where the airplane actually rises out of the water a little bit, and instead of, the majority of the pontoon being in the water, it comes up and rides on top of it a little bit more. And the picture that our viewers can't see it obviously, but the picture that you just showed me is a lake, which is the same kind of hole where the hull of the airplane is the monohull.
I got that off of the Tavares website. That's what their claim to fame is, I guess, the seaplane thing. But that's not the one I saw. That's a different. But it's the same idea.
Right.
Yeah.
It's got the propeller on top or something. It's kind of a weird.
Well, because if you had it down at the bottom, it'd be in the water.
That's true.
Just a little.
You're brilliant.
I know, aren't I?
Well, hopefully that one doesn't leak, right?
Yeah, that'd be bad.
We've got a few more minutes left. If you have a question for Josh or Brad, the number to call in on is the WOCA Climate Control Source Hotline, 622-9622, and I don't think anybody's there. I don't see anybody there. It's a different line.
Not.
Yes, that was very interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, and actually, there's also a for anybody that's thinking about air shows too. There's one down. Not the sport plane. Where would they have that one at?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Sorry, I wasn't really paying attention.
I can
to
tell
what you were
there's a
saying.
sport plane one also. Yeah. Anyway, we'll just move on. But yes, about the Discovery flights, we are still doing those. They're still the only $99. And this with ours, you don't have to want to learn to fly. I mean, you do get the experience of going up, taking the controls, and see what it feels like to fly the plane, which is really good. We had a huge influx for some reason last week. We had like 10 Discovery flights last week for some reason. And
that many?
Yeah, Piff did 7 on Sunday.
7?
7.
Holy cow.
Exactly.
It's a lot.
Yes.
For one day.
And we are available to do it on the weekends.
Well, I just never thought you could do it on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Well, some of our instructors will work on Sundays. Some do, some don't. But if you want to do it, usually we try and get you in when we can get you in.
Do you take tips?
Yes.
Do you mean actual like monetary tips,
Money,
or like don't jump off of a building when it's that kind of stuff?
Well, I mean, we already talked about the money, and it sounds like that $100 really doesn't get you very far. I mean,
like me, I don't take tips, obviously, because I'm not flying with the guys. But if a person wanted to give an instructor a tip, they are welcome to do it. They always ask me, well, am I allowed to tip? I'm like, yeah. There's not requirement,
It's not
though.
requirement, no.
No.
Now, what if you wanted a Discovery flight just a little bit further than what you normally would do? Let's say
then you would do an extended Discovery flight.
Can we pay extra and go farther? Okay.
Yes. It doesn't have to go farther. It just gives you more time.
So like,
because some people don't.
Farther.
Yeah, which you could use to go farther. Some people don't think that a half hour is long enough to see if they really want to do it or not.
Right.
And that's fine. So we'll do an extended Discovery flight. We give them a little bit more time. Try the maneuvers, because some people can get up and fly just fine, but when we start doing maneuvers,
try the maneuvers. Oh, I would.
Not a lot of them.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that instructors have to learn when they're fairly new. Is sometimes a person will say that they love roller coasters. It does not mean they want to do some maneuvers that they do with them.
Oh wow.
And so I have to remind new instructors, do not do those kinds of things with people. Although they say they love roller coasters, don't do it.
So, because I would think I'd like to see the coast from the air. I mean, I've seen it from a big jet. And, it's amazing when you land in Orlando. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes they will actually fly along the the Atlantic coast and then make a right at Daytona. And if you look down and Daytona, you recognize the area.
Yep.
Not always, though. I don't know why.
It depends on the winds and what runway they're using. One time I was flying into Tampa, and they actually flew right over Ocala, and I recognized Ocala.
Really?
I saw the airport and everything like that.
Yeah, because I realize these planes are going a lot faster than like what we would go, so they need a lot of time to get ready and get set up and
get turned around.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't fly that much anymore, but I did, and I never flew over Ocala. I flew over Beverly Hills once. And I recognized that area. So.
Okay. How could you recognize Beverly Hills from the air? I'm not saying it'd be funny. I mean,
Well,
there's
my mom lives there.
No, but there's no
She
big landmarks, are there?
I guess I was just following the road from the air. I knew where it was, and I recognized the area from the. It took off of Tampa, I think.
So you weren't very high.
I don't know how high would I get between Tampa and Beverly Hills? Would I be full altitude already? No, it's not that far, really.
I have no idea because I don't know where Beverly Hills is.
Oh, Citrus County, like near Inverness, near Lecanto.
He still has no idea what you're talking about.
You'd probably be a good 8,000 to 10,000 feet by that point.
At least.
At least, yeah.
Yeah. So you could see it. No, I was curious because you can fly over towns at 3,000 feet and not be able to tell which town they are. So you being able to identify Beverly Hills is impressive.
Well, because I knew the roads.
Exactly.
Maybe
you did it by the roads. See, that's why I was trying to find out.
My goodness, we're almost out of time.
No, we get an extra minute.
Oh, you want another minute?
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about?
You started us a minute late, so we
are going to start about the.
I thought it was 6 after when we started.
The scholarship.
Yeah, that's a minute late.
The scholarship is still going on. Dan and I are actually working on a new commercial because everybody said my commercial didn't sound like it was real, which is fine. We are seriously offering a scholarship for people 17 up to 25 to get their private pilot's license. It's $4,000 towards flight training. So spread the word, get people out here.
It's a real scholarship.
It's a real scholarship, and it's real money. Okay, and then plus the Discovery flights are still going on. All you have to do is call 352-861-7484, and you can get up. You can buy it for a gift. Valentine's Day is over. St. Patrick's Day, Easter.
St. Patrick's Day? Really?
Hey, any excuse to buy stuff.
Yeah, why not?
We'll have everybody wear green on that day if you come out new Discovery flight.
Really?
Yes, we'll make you dye your hair yellow or orange. Not yellow, orange. Red.
Really?
Yes. So if you want to pay for Discovery flight and see Josh in green,
thanks. Now we're gonna get
with orange hair.
Not gonna happen.
We'll do a special for that day, and that's it. I'm done. Are you done, Josh?
I'm done.
Good. Have a good weekend.
Look at the time.
It's good.
9:31. Is that good enough?
That's good enough.
Fine.
All right, thanks, guys. The funnest show on radio, right here.
Absolutely.
You bet.
Yes.
We'll be right back.
So what did you do with your weekend? Me? I was flying, because I'm taking flying lessons from Ocala Aviation. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, hey, I'd like to give that a shot, but I'm not quite sure. Well, I've got the solution. It's called the Discovery Flight, and that's exactly what it is. It helps you discover the wonder of flying and if it's for you. It's only $99, and it gives you the chance to learn a bit more about the airplane and then actually go for a ride with a flight instructor and take control of the airplane. That's how I got started, and now I'm on my way to being a pilot. I know, scary thought, right? But the demand for qualified pilots is stronger than ever. And with the help of Ocala Aviation, you could make a career change and learn to be a commercial pilot.